Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
622 right now. Thank you so much for joining us. A little bit of weather headed our way. In fact, in the
Yeah.
Madison area, we're going to see some heavy rain through a good portion of the morning and other parts of the state as well. So much warmer temperatures over the next few days. Of course, we'll keep you updated on all of that. You are listening to Daybreak. This is the Civic Media Network. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And good morning. I'm Brian Noonan. Yeah, the springtime storms rolling in this weekend. It's a little nerve-wracking, but it's also
Record
a sign that,
temperatures.
okay, it's not going to be snowfall for
Yeah,
now.
don't get too
today,
comfortable, though,
today
folks.
it's not going to be snowfall. Just qualifying that. One text really quick before we move on.
Sure.
We were talking about the Shield of America, and Mark from Prairie du Sac texts in more like Hail Hydra. And if you didn't think of that the minute you heard Shield of the Americas, I don't even want to know you. I don't want to know how you didn't make the Avengers connection when you heard Shield. But anyway, data centers are the bane of some people's existence. We talk about them all the time. We talk about sweetheart deals secret deals they may or may not have made with certain towns. Well, now 3 Manitowoc County towns, 2 creeks, 2 rivers, and only one Mishicot. Mishicot. Only one Mishicot. There's not 2 Mishicots.
There is not 2 Mishicots.
All right. Well, good. One is plenty. Mishicot's doing it all by themselves. Anyway, 2 creeks, 2 rivers, and Mishicot are pushing for 1-year moratoriums on new data center developments. Just saying, hey, let's pump the brakes. The town boards passed these resolutions asking the county to pause permits and construction for any new data projects not already approved. So.
Yeah.
At some point, it's good to see, right? You got to wait. Let's see the ones that are approved and the developed. So let's see how that actually affects us before you keep giving permits.
Right. And with what is being asked by these cities, they would have the option to extend that moratorium an additional 6 months if they find that there needs to be more research. But this is really coming after a Texas-based company called Cloverleaf Infrastructure approached property owners in the area with offers to buy land for a possible project. Cloverleaf, if you don't remember seeing them in the news, they previously helped launch a very controversial data center campus proposal in Port Washington.
Right.
And they had approached landowners in Greenleaf in Brown County, even though that project was abandoned after there was a ton of community pushback in the Port Washington area. Now, a company spokesperson for Cloverleaf says that they're going to continue to evaluate potential data center sites in northeast Wisconsin. There's no specific locations right now chosen, though, in Manitowoc County. Wisconsin is currently seeing a surge in this development. Obviously, we've seen major projects in Mount Pleasant by Microsoft and also Meta in Beaver Dam. A lot of local leaders are saying that the Manitowoc County area may be attractive because it's close to the Point Beach nuclear power plant, and that can provide large amounts of electricity that the data centers require. Now, when it comes to this moratorium, town officials say residents are obviously concerned about losing farmland, Brian. They're also concerned about changing the rural character of the communities. And we're talking hundreds of acres of farmland that could be taken out of production by this particular data center. So I think this moratorium is good because it just gives the county time to stop, breathe, pause everything that's happening, study the environmental impact, the economic impacts, develop some sort of zoning rules, which I think Wisconsin's going to probably have to have some sort of law in place at some point based on how many data centers are trying to come into the state. It gives the county a chance to look at the infrastructure plans, some of the emergency service requirements, and some of the decommissioning standards that might be important for these data centers.
All the things that will affect people's day-to-day lives in these communities. That's why you can't. It's a similar phenomenon, but not with the major impact that data centers are having across Wisconsin. The town I used to live in suddenly passed a law where you could have gaming. You could have slot machines in bars and things. Well, they didn't really put any limit on it. So all of a sudden, the little downtown area that we had, every storefront had become one of these gaming centers. And people, I don't know a lot of people don't go in there. I never saw people in there. but it was unchecked is the point. So these places saying let's pump the brakes, let's see how this plays out. The ones that are in motion, they're going to finish, and then we see. Instead of just opening the floodgates and then down the road in hindsight going, boy, this probably wasn't the best move because of higher bills and the infrastructure and all the things you mentioned. We didn't look into those first. We saw dollar signs and we grabbed it. And the money grab doesn't always work out.
No, it doesn't. Alicia pointing out over on our social media this morning, over on YouTube where she's watching, another large concern in Manitowoc County is windmill construction as well. So, and I think that's just it. I don't think any of us are anti-development. We're not anti bringing in these new facilities. I think what most citizens are asking is, let's reevaluate. Let's make sure that we're going to be able to afford our own electricity because these data centers are moving into the area. Let's make sure that we're not ruining our farmland and a large portion of how Wisconsin makes their income because of these data centers. Let's just reevaluate what's actually happening, and let's put some rules on these companies as they're trying to come in and build these facilities. I like new jobs. I like to give people places to work.
That's a hot take, Jamie. You like giving people jobs?
I like it. Like when people can have jobs, and and these data centers can potentially do that during the construction process, and the people
right.
That
but
will
are
have
those
to be there to run
permanent?
them.
Are they permanent jobs or are they temporary
That's
jobs?
what we need to know.
And it seems like once the data centers are built or data centers, you don't need too many people to actually be there. From the investigating that we've done and the conversations we've had, yes, there's a lot of jobs getting these things up and running, but then those kind of go away. So that's that. And plus, we can't have windmills, Jamie, that kills the birds. I don't like the birds dying. If you ever seen wind, things flowing around, I don't like it.